So having this page saved is nice, but this page is offline because it is saved in the folder on our computer, which means that the markers such as me would not be able to see it to mark it. And none of us want to not have our stuff marked. So in order to have this markable by the staff, you have to submit it online to the university server. The university has given each of you your own web page. To make changes to it, you'll need to use a copy program such as the one we recommend, which is free and easy to use, WinSCP. To get started with, you're going to need to click New Site and set up a Hyperion hostname, and you'll just go hyperion.cc.uregina.ca, and then you'll probably want to save it so that you don't have to edit it, keep entering that in every time you want to make a change. You're going to double click on that and you'll start logging into the Hyperion server. As I mentioned in the introduction, your Hyperion account is the same as your Regina account. The thing is, when you're entering your username into WinSCP, you cannot use capital letters or it will not work. So enter your course's username without capital letters and then your password. If your password had capital letters, you will need them in the password. It's just the username that cannot have capitals. You should see a folder that will say public HTML. This is the folder where the university's web server will look for your web pages. If your web pages are not placed in this folder, they will not be visible to markers such as me. So the first thing you should do is double click the public HTML folder here. Yours will probably be empty because you probably haven't used it before unless you've taken this class before. On the left, everything on the right is what's online, on the left is what's on your computer. So if we switch the directory to where we saved it, mine is desktop, I can find my CS100 folder here. These are all the files that I want to save and upload. I will simply select them all. My philosophy is if you always upload everything, you'll never forget anything, so I always just upload everything. Drag them left to right. I'm going to need to overwrite everything because I will have to. So now those files are uploaded, but what might not have happened is the rights might not have been set. You can see there's this table here. I don't believe your rights will set by default at home. They will in the lab computers, not at home. So what you may have to do is select the pages, click properties, and make sure that this read write is set for each one. If the R for read is not set, then the website will not be visible online, so we won't be able to see it. And if you ever unset this W, WinSCP will prevent you from editing that file, so make sure you're leaving this W on as well. So you're just going to want to make sure that all of your rights say RWRR. You can set them all at once, but make sure that's what they say. The confusing thing now is that now you have a copy of the website that's online, which can be found at your website address uregina.ca/squiggly your username. And you can see this is the exact same file that I had offline, but now it's online because you can see the web address here. What's going to get confusing is I have two copies of my website now. I have what I've submitted to WinSCP online and what I have in my local folder for CS100 offline. Any change I make to this page will not change the online page unless I have dragged and dropped it left to right again to overwrite any changes. So if I wanted to say add my middle name, it will change the offline version. You can see it's offline because it's in my file directory, but it will not change the online version until I've recopied it. Over it, you can see the change. Click to refresh. Sometimes browsers have a thing called cookies, so unless you actually click the refresh button, you won't see changes in your browser. Just entering in your address over and over won't actually refresh the page. So make sure if you're not seeing your changes, you try clicking the refresh button. So that is the basics of saving your work, both offline and online. The thing to remember is it is up to you to check and make sure that you have uploaded your assignment properly by placing it in your public HTML folder on WinSCP. If it's not placed there on time, or if you mess something up and you do not check your own website by going to uregina.ca/squiggly your username, if you don't check it yourself and it doesn't work and it comes time for me to mark and nothing's working, I will have no choice but to give you a 0. So please, please, please make sure you're checking your work, checking that you have the permission. If you don't have the right permission, if you were to unset these R's, you get this error that says access forbidden. This error will mean that you need to go into WinSCP and set these R's. The other error that you might get is if you put www in front of the U, it does not actually go to the university server and it gets confused. So you'll get an error that looks like this. I know it says notify IT support. They don't actually usually know what this error means. So if you see this error, you'll need to take everything out in front of that U and click the arrow here so that it doesn't auto try again to set the W's back. Because once you've messed it up once, it tries to autocorrect. Those are the two most common errors I see in uploading. The other one, if your files are too big, you can see there's file sizes here. If you overset your file size quota, it will prevent you from uploading your work. That's usually found in pictures. So if you have a picture, if this picture was really big, you would need to edit it, probably with Paint. Yeah, it won't let me do it from there. So I'll need to edit it from here. There's a resize button here, and you would just shrink this picture by constantly resizing it until it was a smaller size so that you would be able to fit it when you copy it to WinSCP. Those are the 3 most common uploading errors. So that is how you submit your work in this class. That's how you will submit the checkpoints. That's how you'll submit your assignments. Except for probably the third one if it's about access databases, which will be submitted on your courses.